Watagwan. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan.
Watch Walking on the Word with Apostle Professor J. Andrew Scott every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m.
An apostle cause 3 contracts to be released to you. So as of tonight, the realm of the supernatural is active and activated to cause 3 contracts. Pow! 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 In Jesus' name.
So get up and unite for your team. It's the best we've got. It's how we
every preach, every part, every deal, every wicked, every soul. And the heart and soul and passion, and the culture, Caribbean flows. When playing from out all nation, with the team in a unification. When the stadium ram beach at the grandstand, and the meaning of beautification.
It's how we play. It's how we play.
When the stadium ram beach at the grandstand, and the meaning of beautification.
It's how we play.
Is Jamaica facing a public health crisis? For years, we've heard Jamaicans complain about the state of public health care, from long waits to bed shortages and even poor treatment from hospital staff. But in recent weeks, those concerns have taken on a new urgency. There have been a flood of emotional videos circulating on social media, with families publicly sharing their experiences of poor hospital treatment. And some of those videos are heartbreaking, to say the least. Tonight, we take a closer look at the state of healthcare in Jamaica, what may be going wrong, where the gaps are, and whether we are facing a public health crisis. Good evening, I'm Tyrone Reed, and this is Lead Story Prime. So early this month, a social media user by the name of Shania took to TikTok to share an emotional story of her grandmother who was being treated at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. In her video, she alleged that her grandmother was being treated poorly by nurses at the facility. Let's take a look.
From when me the hold on panic and like me, I tell my family them say, yo, me no want she go and she hold on, me no want she dead. And me I tell you, I come down here and look on the condition where the hospital in and the people them where they have to take care of the people them were sick. It is so heartbreaking, bro. the way they lack empathy, they lack love, they lack kindness to the people that were on their dead bed, bro. From away. Me going there, me see me granny neck, me see me grandmother neck crooked and set away, and me call the nurse, just me ask the nurse if you can't just help me if you adjust the lady neck. And you believe so me stand up half hour, wait for the nurse come to adjust the lady neck. And when she finally come, you know, so the lady go tell me, say, oh, you can't just adjust it, just put a towel under her neck. No little compassion, no little nothing of the woman. Me put this pill on, me put this something under her neck and adjust her neck, and she start breathe funny, and me panic. And me run go to the woman and tell the woman say she a breathe funny. The woman just looking at my face and step past me. And not even acknowledge me nor the woman. Not even acknowledge me or my granny. Can you imagine? And at them your nurse say una have up a hospital. Una have to remember say these people are sick. Some of them people they go dead and now go home back to their family, and I so not treat them and their family for their last days, bro. It's just so heartbreaking, brother.
And days later, CEO of the Bellevue Hospital, Suzette Buchanan, went live on her social media page condemning what she said was poor treatment of her 32-year-old daughter at the University Hospital of the West Indies. Ms. Buchanan named an emergency technician who she said lacked compassion. We have a recording of that live.
She lacked compassion. How do you find yourself in health care if you don't care, not you care for people? You think a 32-year-old would be sitting in a wheelchair and ask you to push them if they could manage to do that? You know how you feel as a 32 and you're not in a 32 years old and you're not in a position to move from point A to point B. You know how that feel? And this child has been there from about 8 o'clock this morning. And as I've said, we have 2,000 persons on the live, and I want to just use the opportunity to big up the doctors, big up the nurses, all the doctors and the nurses that we saw this morning, all the healthcare workers that helped us up until this point. But I am disappointed that as a frontline worker, you are the first point of contact. And I'm saying to you, those of you who access these services, there are channels where these individuals can be punished for their actions.
Now, we did invite Ms. Buchanan's daughter, Tonian, to join us on tonight's show. She agreed, but due to unforeseen circumstances, she had to cancel at the last minute. But less than 2 weeks after that incident, news emerged of a 32-year-old mother who died at the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital 5 days after giving birth. Her family alleges her death may have been caused by negligence. Last week, we interviewed her uncle, who also happens to be one of our correspondents here at CVM Television. Let's take a look at the snippet from the interview.
Kenny's done. Suffered. She suffered at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. This evening is not it is not an evening for any pretty speech. I'm going to be speaking from my heart. This young lady came in your facility, and based on what I am hearing, she was treated like a dog. And her basic human rights and dignity was violated. And for that, if this is not a national disgrace, then tell me what is. I am so angry. I am so broken, devastated, disappointed that this could have happened. The health system failed my little niece. When will this stop? When will this stop? And the statement that was issued, it has outraged the family. It insulted us. You have to do better. You have to do better. You're talking about someone's mother, someone's loved one, someone's niece, someone's sister. Where is your compassion? Where is your care? She was on the ground for hours in her vomit. And you think that is cool? Healthcare profession, you think that is cool? In normal jurisdiction, something like this happen. Human beings would have sent in or tendered their resignation because they would have failed. Your management system failed.
Kirk Hall.
And as a result, we, the family, is calling for an immediate resignation of the entire management at St. Anne's Bay Hospital.
Just yesterday, another outcry on social media, this time from a woman who alleges she lost her father at the hands of the Kingston Public Hospital, or the poor treatment of folks at the Kingston Public Hospital. Let's have a listen.
The healthcare system failed my dad. How is it that Kingston Public Hospital, you guys failed my dad? My dad died at 9 p.m. and my mom wasn't called until she went to visit him. When she went there, he wasn't on his bed.
Our newsroom is aware of at least 2 other incidents, the most recent happening at the Spanish Town Hospital. A woman contacted one of our reporters on Friday saying her husband was being mistreated at the facility. When we reached out to her this morning, we learned that he died on Saturday. So that's at least 6 separate incidents at different hospitals. It's safe to say these aren't isolated cases. Well, Santina Salmon, the woman in the video we just saw, joins us now via Zoom. Top of the evening to you, Ms. Salmon. Welcome to Lead Story Prime.
Thank you.
Indeed. I think we are up on a break, yeah? So let's take the break, and when we come back, we'll hear more from Santina Salmon and what her family thinks about her father's treatment at the country's high seat of medicine, the Kingston Public Hospital. Soon come.
Time to get this party started.
Cricket, 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 played, 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 played.
Louder,
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 louder, louder, louder, louder.
Come to the biggest party in sport and be part of the action. Get your tickets at the local box office or at cplt20.com. Watch it live on Rush Live and Louder, the home of cricket in the Caribbean.
It's how we play.
Hey, what a one.
man.
What a guan?
What a guan?
That's a guan pa.
What a guan? What a guan? What a guan? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
And that's a guan pa. What a guan?
Thanks so much for staying with us. We are looking at the health sector and whether or not there is a crisis in patient care. In particular, a number of cases making the rounds on social media in quick succession, alleging that their loved ones were not treated with the appropriate care at public health hospitals. Joining us tonight is one of the individuals who took to social media to highlight the passing of her father, Santina Salmon. We just saw her in that video we aired just now. Top of the evening to you again, Santina Salmon. Welcome to the program. If you could just walk us through and what transpired with your father from the time he was admitted, what he was admitted for, and why you think that poor patient care might have contributed to his passing.
So my dad was admitted on Monday at the KPH. When he got there, he had a minor stroke. With having the minor stroke, he was placed in a wheelchair, right? Because there was no bed that was available. So he was placed in a wheelchair. Now, he was there in the wheelchair where there was no proper health care that was given to him. While being in the wheelchair, he suffered a massive stroke. With that massive stroke that he suffered, right, he was then, after suffering that massive stroke, there was still no proper treatment that was given. When he got the massive stroke, my mom was advised by a patient that he got 2 major seizures. When she asked the doctor what happened, the doctor told her that she's not able to give her any information at this moment, right? Because she's busy. Now, I work in the healthcare field, so I do understand, right? She probably might have been a bit overwhelmed or whatever. However, when my dad passes, he passes from 9 p.m. There was no update that was given. She didn't receive any call until she went to visit him at 11 p.m. at visiting hours, right? They told her to have a seat, right? And the doctor and the nurse would be with her shortly. That's when they advised her that my father had passed from 9 p.m. that night. She didn't receive a phone call. She didn't receive a text or nothing.
All right, just
when she then...
No, please, go on, carry on.
Okay, when she then spoke with the nurses and the doctor, they apologized and told her that he passes. So when she asked, how is it that she didn't receive a call, they told her that it was 9 p.m. that night and they are sorry. That's all they said. They then went to move so she didn't get to view his body. Up until now, we haven't viewed his body to know that he is the one that passed or anything. We haven't got a chance to view the body as yet. She was told that he was moved to the Spanish Town, I think Young's Funeral Home or something like that. When she got to Young's Funeral Home, she was then advised that she's not able to view the body as yet until she get the release document, which they say that will take at least 3 to 7 days.
So she might not get to see her husband. How long have they been married?
They have been together for 40-something years.
40 plus years, and she might not be able to see him until 3 to 7 days, you're saying?
That's correct.
All right, let's dial it back just a little bit, Santina. Just help to, I know this is difficult for you. Of course, our deepest sympathies to you and your loved ones on the passing of your father. But let's walk it back a bit. He was admitted for a minor stroke. And you said he did not get a hospital bed immediately. How long?
No, he did
How
not.
long was he admitted in this wheelchair?
He was in the wheelchair, I think, for about 2 days.
For 2 days. And you were told the reason why he had to be in the wheelchair, was your family told why?
All they said was there was no bed that was available.
And then to the point now where he has 2 seizures, as someone told your mother when she visited another patient.
Another patient advised that he had 2 major seizures.
Which you are now learning would have been 2
stroke.
Right. Was anyone called to and given an update on him and that he was deteriorating his condition?
No.
And then it progressed to the point where he dies at 9 p.m. and she visits the following day is when she visits at 11 a.m.?
At 11 a.m., visiting hours 11 a.m.
All right, and she goes to his bed and he's not
and it was
there.
Empty.
And then what happens from there?
So when she goes there, because I was on the phone with her, right, the bed was empty. So she went to the nurse and asked what happened. They told her to have a seat and they will speak with her. She was then advised that he passed from 9 p.m. that night. They told her that it was too late to give her a call.
At 9 p.m.?
However, at 9 p.m. However, she still did not get a call in the morning. She was not notified until she got there at visiting hours at 11 a.m.
How is it?
Up until now, I'm unsure if it is that my dad is actually dead because we're yet to view his body to say, yes, that's my dad.
How is your mother handling this? The fact that she turns up and that's when she's finding out the bed is empty and that's when she's being told that her husband has died. How did she take it immediately?
None of us took it well because this was not something that we were expecting. When my dad went there, he was talking, he was walking. The only issue was that he was a bit confused. So this was nothing that we were expecting to happen. So of course, the whole family is devastated about what's going on. There is no answers. We're still yet to get answers as to what's going on. Why is it that we're not able to view the body? Why is it that we have to wait on the release paper? Why is it that my dad was taken away and his wife wasn't informed?
Those are entirely reasonable questions. When you put them to the staff, hospital management, you're getting no answers?
No answers. Nope.
You did say you were on the phone with your mom at the time of the visit. How did you respond to the news that he died and now you're recognizing that no one called?
My dad is literally my best friend. I was planning to surprise him for my birthday, right? We were there on the phone, we were talking. He was telling me this is what he wants and everything. I have things that are completely packed for him to get. And to know that I'll not be able to give it to him it's crazy.
I know this is extremely difficult for you, Ms. Salmon, but how does that make you feel? The fact that a patient can die, no call, and by the admission of the staff there, based on what you're putting on the table here, that they told your mother, that they did not call because they felt like calling after 9 p.m. would have been too late. And as you rightly pointed out, someone could have called in the morning before visiting hours at 11, and that did not happen. You are in the healthcare profession, you just told us. What's your view of that? What's your take on that?
It's heartbreaking. It shows how much that the healthcare system in Jamaica is failing our people. I made a post on TikTok and just 7 hours ago, and I have over 200 and something comments. And there are persons there that are saying they have experienced the same thing. So what is going on? Something is not right. I think we need answers. It's just not fair.
And your case seems to be, in the last couple of weeks that we've been looking at these issues. This is perhaps the 6th video in the last couple of weeks, and there are other people who are not making videos about what is transpiring. It does seem as if the situation warrants some kind of investigation into the quality of patient care being meted out at these public health hospitals. Would you agree?
I totally agree. Something is definitely not right? Because how is it that there is no beds that are available? Okay, fine, we understand that you guys might be super busy, but there's no beds that are available for days upon days. That's not right. On top of it, I'm hearing that the ratio of nurses to patient is crazy. The ratio of doctors to patient is crazy. So what is going on? Because as someone that's working in the healthcare field, right, you're going to tell me that the nurses as well are going to feel overwhelmed. The doctors are going to feel overwhelmed. So what is going on?
And finally, as we come to or almost at the break, we're not there yet. You're going to stick around for us, Ms. Salmon. What is your family considering in terms of legal action? We heard from the health minister. I'm not certain if we have that clip lined up. Do we have that clip lined up, studio? Can we take that clip with the health minister advising individuals who feel they are the victims of poor patient care, advising them to take legal action? I gather we have to take it after the break. All right, let's take it after the break. We're talking about the state of patient care in Jamaica. Is the public health care system facing a crisis of patient care? We take the break right here and come back with more.
From the market to the farm to the office, money talk is everywhere. But are you making sense or nonsense? The Bank of Jamaica brings you common sense with BOJ. Real stories, real laughs, and real lessons to help you protect, grow, and manage your money. Mattress savings.
At least my mattress. You charge me to sleep on it.
Partner plan.
Remember last year we needed our payouts early? But Miss Pam gave it to her cousin first.
Or a sketchy loan flyer.
Electrifying deals.
See why making the right financial choices is pure common sense. Brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, empowering everyday Jamaicans one episode at a time.
Grandpa, it's 2026. You can't keep hiding all your money in every single pocket forever.
So get up and unite for your team. Give the best we've got. It's how we
every preach, every part, every deal, every wicked, every soul. And the heart and soul and passion, and the culture, Caribbean flows. When people come out all nation, to the team in a unification. When the stadium from beach at the grandstand, and the meaning of beautification.
It's how we play. It's how we play.
When the stadium from beach at the grandstand, and the meaning of beautification.
It's how we play.
Watch Walking on the Word with Apostle Professor J. Andrew Scott every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m.
An apostle on have cause 3 contracts to be released to you. So as of tonight, the realm of the supernatural is active and activated to cause 3 contracts. Pow! 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 In Jesus' name.
What a guan?
What a guan?
That a guan pa.
What a guan? What a guan? What a guan? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
That a guan pa. What a guan?
Start your journey with a Jane Bank Small Business Loan with small business loans with as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million.
The time is 8:30.
Thanks so much for sticking and staying with us. We're placing the public health sector under the microscope, trying to ascertain whether or not there is a crisis in patient care in the country. We're speaking with Santina Salmon. She is the daughter of a patient who died at the Kingston Public Hospital recently. She joins us via Zoom from the United States. We are also now being joined in this conversation by Dr. Alfred Dawes. He's the opposition spokesman on health, and he's also, critically, he's also a former president of the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association. Dr. Dawes, thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, and good evening to all the viewers.
Dr. Dawes, before I come to you, I did say we wanted to play a clip with the Portfolio Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, amidst all of these cases that are coming across the timeline, suggesting, encouraging, reminding those who feel they have been the victims of poor patient care that they can seek redress through the courts. Let's listen to Dr. Tufton.
Each year we have a number of cases that actually end up in the court. Some are settled outside of the public glare and outside of through mediation. Others are settled through some sort of process that the judge would recommend or order to be done. And that is always available to Jamaicans. And I certainly encourage it if Jamaicans feel aggrieved, because I do believe that while most persons in the system try their best and do well under the circumstances, there are too many that don't. And I do believe that where they don't, we need to train and retrain. But if that fails, we need to hold those persons, those individuals accountable.
The voice of the country's health minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton. Santina, you heard the health minister there. We're going to wrap up with you, but I have two final questions for you. You heard the health minister there. He's saying, if you feel you've been aggrieved, seek redress through the courts. Your response to that?
I'll not be able to see my father again. My father is definitely gone for life, right? So if that's the way for me to get some form of comfort, then that's what I'll be doing.
And you did say you were in healthcare. What would be the procedure if someone dies at night at the facility that you work?
They will definitely reach out to their power of attorney. And that body will not be moved until that power of attorney is there to view the body and identify that body.
Santina Salmon, I know this is a difficult time for you and your family, but I want to say thank you so very much for taking the time during this difficult period to share your story with us. Our deepest sympathies and condolences to you and your family.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Indeed. All right. We have with us the opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes. Dr. Dawes, are you concerned by what appears to be a crisis in patient care across the public health sector?
But it's funny you should use the word crisis, because whenever I have stated in the past that it is a crisis, I have been ridiculed by the portfolio minister saying that I love to use that word. But for someone who is in touch with the operations and those who are in the trenches, and being in tune with what is being said on social media and on the streets by the seekers of health at the hospital facilities, there is no other word that can be used to describe what is happening in our healthcare system other than the word crisis. And I say this objectively as well as subjectively. We are at a position where we are being overwhelmed in the ICUs. The emergency departments are being overwhelmed. Physicians, caregivers, they are being asked to provide services without the backup resources that they need, the lab testing, the equipment, the tools. And that is setting them up for lawsuits, because it's either you operate on a patient in front of you, or you treat the patient in front of you in the dark without the requisite tools that are needed, or you allow them to die. So you are, while you're out there saying that those who have been aggrieved have the opportunity to seek legal redress, the hospitals are operating under conditions that open up everyone who is practicing healthcare delivery to lawsuits. And there's nothing that seems to be changing. I think that implicitly, as a country, we have accepted this as our new norm, because we have been in this condition where healthcare has been consistently being eroded over the last 10 years, but yet we are just placated by promises and PR.
Dr. Dawes, I hear you, and this isn't an attempt at diminishing the role that resources play in the health sector. But for example, in one of the cases that we've been looking at the Corner Regional Hospital that we know is still under construction, this loved one, it's a granddaughter because she was visiting her grandmother, saying she waited half an hour to have one of the nurses come by just to adjust the neck of her grandmother that she felt was in a position that would have been causing some amount of discomfort to her grandmother. Sometimes it doesn't take cash to care, Dr. Dawes, and we're failing in those areas as well.
And I fully agree with you, and I'm going to push back the question on you, and I want the viewers to be honest in their assessment of the situation. Have you seen in any instance, in any scandal, where anyone has been held accountable in the Ministry of Health? And I'll answer for you, no. It starts at the top and it percolates all the way to the bottom. There is no culture of accountability, and therefore nobody believes that they ought to produce in a manner in which they were employed to produce. And this culture of unaccountability has far-reaching implications at every level.
You're in the field, Dr. Dawes, and as a former head of the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, we've heard these accusations being hurled at nurses. We've heard them being hurled at doctors as well. This lack of compassion. What is causing this among your colleagues who chose to be in this profession, to be treating with people? They could have chosen to treat with animals by pursuing veterinary medicine, but they chose to treat with people, and there is this lack of compassion that attends quite a few of them, not all of them, because there are doctors and nurses that are doing their jobs the right way with the requisite compassion. But for those who lack that compassion, Dr. Dawes, what could be the cause of that malady?
And we hear about compassion a lot, as if it is compassion that compels someone to do their job the right way. It's not compassion. You can have empathy and be compassionate, but fail to fulfill your roles. What is happening is not an issue of compassion. It is a matter of whether or not persons are fulfilling their roles. So attending to someone, you can be miserable, but you can fix that person. You can be miserable, you can be gruff in your attitude, but you still administer medication, you still perform the surgery. You may not be pleasant in speaking to the relatives, but at the same time, you have done your best. And on the other hand, you could just be very empathetic and compassionate in speaking to persons, but at the same time, you have not fulfilled the obligations that are required of you. I don't buy this. I don't buy this that it is just compassion, and I'll tell you why. When I was at Savamar Hospital as the SMO, many of the cases that came to me, they were persons upset after someone would have lost a loved one, and they would speak about the attitude of the doctors or the nurses. And when you delve deeper, there were some issues that were beyond the control of the doctors or nurses, meaning that it could be timely presentation or it could have been the lack of resources, but they were fixated on the attitude, and that is something that we need to address. But in some other instances, there were indeed negligence issues that were not dealt properly addressed at the time of the administration of care, that you could say it was an issue with the individuals or the system. So I don't want us to hyper-focus on compassion.
No, and I don't want us to leave it there, because I want to push back on that notion, Dr. Dawes. I hear you on the distinction between those who do their jobs while having a bad attitude and those who have a bad attitude and don't do their job. So that is a bad attitude and negligence, which can be catastrophic. So I hear that, but should we normalize, Dr. Dawes, treating people with empathy? Should we say that it's okay to be grumpy and to grumble and not to treat people with the requisite care that they deserve during what is a difficult period? That shouldn't be normalized, should it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And when I was doing some investigation in this, doing some reading and so on, what came to me was that in any organization, when there is low staff morale or disgruntlement with the conditions, whether it's the environment or the management, the first thing to go is customer service. This is not unique to health. It's not unique to any organization. And that is what is happening. The lack of empathy, my shift is almost done, or lady, I have a lot of other patients to see. All of these things are related to a general disgruntlement. And unless we look at it to see what causes persons who are drawn to a field where empathy is required, why do they become cold? Why do they become, in some instances, heartless? Something is going on. We need an evaluation, and we need to look at what role does the environment play, the lack of tools, the stress levels, because at the heart of it all, we're all humans. The caregivers, they're humans, and anyone operating in a high-stressed environment are subjected to a degradation of the logical component of how they interact with the person, and the more visceral emotional responses tend to come out. Emotional intelligence gets eroded as a result of being in high-stressed environments. And this is something that we really need to look at instead of just casting blame. Look at what is wrong with them. What is their mental health status? Why is it that they're behaving in a particular way that is inimical to their training and their initial desire to be in a field where they are caregivers? Something is happening in our healthcare system. And as it was actually a businessman who told me, the first thing to go when staff morale is low is customer service. We have to delve deeper.
We're drilling down into the state of patient care in Jamaica. Lots of stories making the rounds alleging poor patient care. We're talking with a former JMDA boss. He is the opposition spokesperson on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes. We'll take a break right here on Lead Story Prime and come back with more.
With Apostle Professor J. Andrew Scott every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m.
Hallelujah. And then you have some people now where you look forward for them, bring a joy to you. they make you laugh. When you see them, they make you give you a good vibe. And them people that you want around you, man. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now follow me with your heavy self, man. Sure. Your heavy down, sir. Hallelujah.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Thanks so much for staying with us inside Lead Story Prime. We are drilling down into these concerns that are being raised about the state of patient care across the public health sector. With us is the opposition spokesperson on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes. Dr. Dawes, thank you so much for sticking and staying with us. And we must advise the viewing public that we did in fact try to get stakeholders from across the spectrum in health. We tried for the Nurses Association, the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association. We also tried for the Medical Association of Jamaica, and we were not successful in our attempt to get any of those stakeholders to come. To be fair, I think the boss of the MAJ, that's Professor Reed, said he was in Africa, I think it was. It would have been difficult for him to have joined us at that time. But outside of that, not necessarily getting reasonable responses from these stakeholders to participate. Which takes us to another question for you, Dr. Dawes. This allergic reaction to accountability. How do we hold people accountable in the public health sector? Or what are the mechanisms in place to hold doctors and nurses accountable?
We're not going to hold any caregiver accountable if accountability does not exist across the board. And it starts at the top. I mean, who is going to really at a junior level start to look at those they are supervising, when at the top we are seeing where the administrators of institutions with scandals that are unbelievable, they are still getting a salary at the end of the day. In cases where there are some allegations of impropriety, where fiduciary responsibilities have been breached, there's just no accountability at all. There's never been a case where anyone who has presided over a scandal in the Ministry of Health or any other regional health authorities has ever been held accountable. So if it doesn't exist at the top, why do we think that it is going to exist at the junior levels? Now, one of the things that I had implemented, and I've used an example at South Hospital, was morbidity and mortality review meetings. And this would review all of the cases where there was an adverse outcome. And we would look at strengthening and it would be an honest examination, whether it's a delay in timely seeing of the patient, whether it was a decision that ended in a catastrophe. We would honestly review these things, and then what we would do is to strengthen the system and hold persons accountable. And we would recognize if there's a pattern and act accordingly on that individual, because you do have some bad apples. And there are some persons who just see the job as a paycheck. You have to find them, and usually you can find them by the repeated occurrences, for want of a better word, that lead to bad outcomes. So there exists mechanisms where you can look at the clinical care of patients and hold persons accountable. But nobody is going to be eager to do that if, as I said, from the top coming down, there is no accountability whatsoever in the entire Ministry of Health or the regional health authorities. It is just the norm, and it is not something that we should accept. But as I said, we have implicitly accepted this as our status quo. So we have to just get used to other pieces.
What would you do differently, Dr. Dawes, to change this allergic reaction to accountability that you are suggesting runs from the very top to the bottom of the health sector?
Well, if I were Minister of Health, I would first of all hold myself accountable. And I would hold my chairman, my regional directors, all of my CEOs of the hospitals accountable.
What would that look like?
There would be.
I don't want you to move on without telling us what that would look like.
What it would look like?
Yes.
Reviews. You can build in quality assurance boards to look at the numbers. So if you're seeing that a hospital has an increase in the number, and let's look at Jubilee. We have seen repeated outbreaks where we have seen more dead babies over the last couple of years than what caused the former Minister of Health to resign. And these sometimes happen in a very short space of time, and we know the issues. The issues are that there is a not timely diagnosis because they don't have some equipment that they need, like a portable X-ray. There's overcrowding, and there is a general shortage of staff. Now, you can look at an institution like that and see what are the issues, what do we need, and you implement a timetable. And then if you see something happen again, whoever was responsible for implementation, they have to go.
Let me
but
hold
we don't
you.
see that at all.
Let me hold your
if we have
feet to
issues
the
with procurement, you get rid of the procurement person.
Let me hold your feet to the fire just a bit longer, because by your rubric, the accountability must start at the top. And it's not an unreasonable rubric that you're proffering. So let me hold your feet to the fire a little bit on this one. Should the Jamaican people give the mandate to the People's National Party at the next general elections, and you are appointed health minister, if the systems in health are not working consistently, would you resign?
That is what accountability in the Westminster system is all about. Yes, if the Minister of Health has had adequate opportunities and adequate resources that they can boast about, and the system is progressively declining, I would resign. I would not blame juniors. I would not blame the staff. I would not blame the previous administration. If, for example, I had 10 years to fix it with the biggest budgets recurrently that health has ever seen post-independence, and I cannot fix the systems, then I would tender my resignation.
All right. And this whole business, we touched on this before, and I want us to go back to it. So we're backpedaling a bit. Are there people who come to hospitals, visit health facilities, and they are asking of doctors and nurses more than they should? Is it that the public needs to be educated on the roles of doctors and nurses, or you don't find that that's really a problem locally?
Well, when someone goes to the hospital, they want to get better and they want to feel good while they're getting better. And that is where getting the diagnosis and treatment comes in, and where compassionate care comes in, the feel-good part. These are not extraordinary requests. This is someone who is in discomfort, who is stressed out, and they want the best. This is for families who want the best outcome for their loved ones. So I don't think that it is unreasonable. Where the unreasonable part comes in, and education may be warranted, is that the staff are stretched. So when someone is sitting or sleeping on a bench for 2 days, it is not for lack of empathy to say that you can't get a bed, but you can get a bed, but you have them sleeping on the bench. And it's very unfortunate. You have to educate persons that the wait is going to be long. They're going to be in wheelchairs, sometimes for days. And they should expect that when they come to a public hospital, they're not going to get through same time. It might mean that they go to theater, cut off a toe, and go back in a wheelchair. It may mean that they're having a stroke where their blood pressure needs to be controlled, but they're sitting right next to a mental health patient who is very boisterous and aggressive. It may mean to them that whenever they get a heart attack, they cannot get the necessary investigations immediately, and there's a chance that they may die. That is our reality. And if that is what you mean by education, then people need to understand that when they go to a public health facility, they're not going to get the care that is owed to them.
I have 30 seconds, Dr. Dawes, and I have to ask you this. You say the accountability must start at the top, quite reasonable. In the interim, when these incidents of poor patient care are unfolding, is there any way at all you see that we can hold the actual people delivering the services to account? Is there any way to do that?
The system does not allow for it. That is a simple answer. What we have seen repeatedly is that internal investigations by the persons who are closest to the incident, they always return with the same thing. Nobody needs to be held accountable. And that is why I say that Jamaicans have to get used to this until there is a serious policy direction change. We have to get used to this as our new norm.
We have to leave it there, but Dr. Alfred Dawes, opposition spokesman on health, thank you so much for the time and the thoughts. We appreciate it, man. All right. In closing tonight, many years ago, as an investigative journalist, I undertook an investigation looking into the fact that expectant mothers were being asked to share a single bed with other expectant mothers. Very heavily pregnant women who were admitted to hospital had to be sharing a hospital bed with another expectant mother. And I recall interviewing someone who was in management at the hospital, and the issue they had a problem with was, how did our news team manage to get photos showing that expectant mothers were sharing a bed? That's what they launched an investigation into. How did we get photos of what was happening? And it says something about accountability and the fact that too many persons in the healthcare system seem to be allergic to being held accountable. And perhaps just as telling as the stories we heard tonight is the difficulty we encountered in getting people within the health sector to speak openly about this issue. Several health professionals we reached out to were reluctant to go on the record. But if we are serious about improving Jamaica's public health systems, these are conversations that cannot be avoided. Jamaicans deserve to know what is happening, why it is happening, and what is being done to fix it. Until next time, I'm Tyrone Reed, and this was Lead Story Prime.
When the stadium ram bleach at the grandstand, not the meaning of beautification. It's how we play. It's how we play. When the stadium ram bleach at the grandstand, not the meaning of beautification. It's how we play.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.